Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Market cap 335. Seeing some heavy price action. As we're discussing last video, one of the theories was whales were swimming around, and each price point, the first whale gobbled it up at about 62 during that first dip, and then the next one gobbled it up about 68, and it seems that this whale came and gobbled it up, didn't even let it fall below 7. So that's kind of been the trend. It's kind of been, since this is such a unregulated market still, and it's still the wild west, and there's still so much money going around, people are still, it's still price discovery at this point. And you have all of these different factions, if you want to call them that, these people who have money and they want Bitcoin, but they aren't on the same team. They're looking around and they're saying, well, if some entity poured billions in at 62, this other one said, well, if 62 is good for them, I'm going to do it at 65, 68, right? That's when they poured billions in. Then another person's like, you can see the trend happening. And a lot of people want to call manipulation. I'm one of them, obviously. I hate that word. I don't even, that's the thing. When I say it, I don't care. This is a free market. The reason I don't care is because you're not going to be able to stop it. You can call your SEC, you can call whoever you want. They haven't brought really many people to quote unquote justice for what's happening. It's happening, and you can spend energy trying to fight the inevitable, right? How are you going to fight this worldwide global? I mean, these are people with money and they're playing with the price. They're trying to win. It's a war. It's a game. That's what they're doing. It's hard to stop people with money doing this. So one of the things you can realize is what's happening, right? When it gets super cheap, when there's blood in the streets, and you've made a decision in this game, that's one of the times that you pick up. Then you're playing the game on their side. Yeah, it could dip lower. That's why you dollar cost average. If you really don't know what you're doing and you're new to this, dollar cost average can save you overall from, some pain. If you buy in all in at one point, it goes lower, yada, yada. That's just all, that's how I played it at first. Sometimes you can time your bets if you have some info, but that's a whole different story. Dollar cost average, most people is going to win. And get into crypto in general. There's a lot of there's a lot of attacking going on. A lot of people saying you can't do this, you can't do that, and anything that was ever great was doubted. Keep in mind that the people, the airplane, the Wright brothers, all of these people, all these great inventions down the line, every single time had heavy opponents. People didn't want to see it, or they couldn't see it, and that's fine, right? I would be wary on those who are 100% certain about something and they say it can't be done, right? If it's something that has never been done and they're 100% certain that it can't be done, I'd be wary talking to those people, because how can anyone know? It's different to say, hey, I don't, this is why I don't believe it's going to work for X, Y, and Z, but then to throw ahead and say it's never going to work. I don't listen to those people. I don't listen to a lot of people. Well, I listen to everybody, but I take it, like in the palm of my hand, and I dissect it, and then I take the nutrients out that I want. But I really don't just gobble that shit out without dissecting it. There's a lot of bullshit out there. There's a lot of heavy, and it's the same when you listen to me, because, I'm a fucking human. I don't know. You can't be biased. It's hard. Bias and all these fucking words, whatever. It's that's why you listen to people, you dissect it, and then you add it to your own, because you're the only person you can listen to. When you do enough research, it's cool, because you don't have to rely on anyone else. You can probably just ask yourself. And once you've sharpened your sword, you're going to be able to get the answers a lot quicker. But, people don't always have to see it. I'm going to bring up somebody fires me up. He's a motivational speaker. And this is kind of how I feel in crypto when people are trying to tell me this or that, this can't work and that can't work. As a developer, this is good to listen to, but also as an investor. So
you can't do it. Don't put your limitations on me. I'm dead to your limitations. Your limitations don't exist in my world. Those are your limitations. Keep them. Go home, watch them on TV. Go home, read the newspaper about. Go home and look in the mirror. Go home, call your homeboy. And y'all talk about your limitations. I ain't got none. I get up.
All right. So that's just a video that gets me fired up from the perspective of just watching somebody who's so in tune with who they are and their focus is, because in this life you have to come to a conclusion. Like, it's an open-ended conclusion. That means like you're willing to be wrong. You want to be wrong, right? It's kind of like if you watch Dragon Ball Z, if you watch Goku, he's always wanting to not be the best. He always wants somebody better than him so he can learn and fight and aspire. You always want to be wrong. You don't want to be right all the time, because then it's like, is this it? Is that so you peaked? You're like the guy who's always right. So just look at your life and you're like, all right, man, I'm always right. So this is my peak. That's a terrible way to live. I always want to be wrong. I always want to be proven wrong and learn and grow and aspire. And yeah, I know if you invest, EOS, getting a lot of hate lately. That's fine. EOS is one of my biggest investments. You can call me biased or whatever, but I was in EOS from the beginning, like way before the ICO, when Steemit was new and Zapple was a thing and all this crazy shit was going on. And I told people, I wasn't getting into the first sale because I thought it was going to be overhyped, and it was. And I didn't get into it at 50 cents. That was my first entry point. You watch my journey. I don't know. I've always liked Dan, and I think delegated proof of stake is going to be a monster. I believe that places like Bitfinex and Bancor, some of them are decentralized, but I don't care if they're centralized block producers. I think 21 is more than enough, and I could be wrong, but that's fine. Like, I'm not going to, there's a lot of things that could go wrong with that. There's a lot of people that can poke holes in that, but there's also a strong argument for it and how it could work. So I just believe that if you listen to enough noise, it's hard to come to an open-ended conclusion, because then you're scattered, you're diversified in bad ways. So this is just a game where you have to do your own research, or you're going to get gobbled up, or it's not even going to be as fun. It's just that simple. And I know people say do your own research. I even hate that word. But when it comes to if you ever ask me about any of the investments I am in, I know them like the back of my hand. I can tell you every single thing. Everything that's either public knowledge, and depending on the investment, I can tell you things that aren't public knowledge. But I won't do that because obviously I don't want to fuck anybody over. And that leads me into last video. I remember I said something about getting into coins, because right now I believe we're on that, and I believe there's a big bull run coming. That's just my just what I believe, right? I think it's going to happen really quick. Bitcoin's going to jump like 2K overnight. It's going to be some insane things. And it's not even going to be like last year. I mean, it's going to be much more violent. I think people just aren't really seeing with this kind of, and it's not even so much price suppression. It's like playing wall ball. That's what these guys are doing. These fucking billionaires are playing wall ball, right? They're like bing, bong, bing, bong, bing, bong, right? They're playing wall ball. They're accumulating as much as possible. You're dealing with something. No one's ever dealt with this. It doesn't matter if you're a Superman, billionaire, Batman, all in one. It doesn't matter. You never dealt with something like this, where it's 24/7 global market, and you can't just gobble it all up, because there's a lot of quote unquote hodlers. That's like a big thing. Like, who does that? Like, you could say gold, but still, gold has been manipulated for far too long. I mean, the gold game's gone. Like, gold, silver, JP Morgan, all them, they own all of that. Bitcoin and all these other cryptocurrencies. That's the beautiful thing. They try to quote unquote manipulate Bitcoin, whatever. The evil guy in the cloak, right? Trying to bring down Bitcoin. It doesn't matter, because you have Ethereum, you have Ripple, even you have Bitcoin Cash, you have EOS, you have Litecoin, you have all of these different coins. You have China, Neo with China. All of these different coins are coming out. It's hard to suppress them all. They're just poking through. But getting into, I'll give a quick overview. So if people always ask me, what do I look for? New people, they're like, okay, what do I get into? Would you buy Bitcoin and hodl it? What do I do? And I have three realms. I get into small cap coins, I get into medium cap coins, and I get into large cap coins. And there's a reason for it. Depending on your diversify, like if you're low on money, I'm not diversified. I've done so many videos about how to make your first 1,000, 10,000. You can go watch me do it, right? I did it, I recorded it. This is just more of a general strategy for when you realize what sector you're being into. Because I'm not good. This is too long of a video to get all the points. This is just breaking down one point, kind of what, if I'm going to get into a sector, what is it going to be? So obviously, if I'm going to get, let's start in the middle. We'll start with medium cap coins. If I'm going to get a medium cap coin, they have to have somebody who is a superstar in a way, not just a superstar, but a head, somebody like that has a big reputation, that can show up at events and really pull the coin forward and has connections. When I think of that, I think of Civic as a mid cap coin. They have someone like Vinny, and then you have, basic attention token. They have somebody like Brendan. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for like a head point, some kind of big, strong leader presence, raised a good amount of money. That means funds isn't an issue, because we're talking medium cap. Medium cap, you're talking 100 to 2, 3, 400 million market cap, right? That's my range of medium cap coins. So that would probably be on this page, the second page. You start to get into the market caps. These are around my medium cap coins. If you go and look at a Wax and a Civic, those are medium caps. So that means the return on investment is not going to be as high as a small cap. So that means they have to have their act together. If the risk to reward is smaller, that means I'm going to need you to have a leader. You're going to have some money and some connections, and you're going to have to be fairly liquid. Fairly liquid means anything over 1 million, 24-hour consistent. I usually like anything over 10 to 50 mil. That would be nice, 24-hour. But it's just a rough ballpark, probably about 1 million. Now the rest is on your own. Like you have to study what coins you actually like. Like there's a bunch of them. A bunch of them are going to fail, but just keep in mind that the great ones that have what I just said in place have a good chance of succeeding. And if they do succeed, the upside's very, very great, because we're just very small, just a little tiny dot, a little piece of sand on a beach when we're talking about use case adoption. So it's virtually non-existent at this point. So yeah, that's a medium cap coin. That's what I look for. That in a small cap coin, you go a few more pages down. That's usually anything under 40, 50 mil. 50 mil is getting up there. I don't like to really, unless I just have like my finger on the pulse of something that's between 50 to 100 mil. I usually don't invest, because when you get into the 50 to 100 mil market cap range, it gets a little bit tough, because it's hard to find, one that has that focal head point that raised enough money, because when you add those kind of combinations together, you usually get 100 mil market cap minimum. So I like to really dig deep and take my risks. If I can find a 1 million market cap, 5 million market cap coin, super, super high risk, and they take the longest. Small cap coins, that's why I started out on small cap coins, because that is where the most work has to be done. And if you don't have a lot of money, you look for where you can work, right? Where can I work? Where can I, put in my energy and time and convert that to money on the back end? And with the small cap coins, it takes an insane amount of work to really get to know the team, know it in and out. I would never put my money in a small cap coin that I wasn't just, really good friends with the team, know them, can reach out, real comfortable, know that they're working. And the superstar talent I look for, because you always have to have a superstar talent. Anyone in this world, if you listen to my videos enough, you know that I believe everyone's superheroes and everyone had their superstar talent. They focused on whatever they're good at, right? I have my one thing that I'm good at, and that's putting in work. And that's my superstar talent. I'm sure you're better than me than a lot of things. But I have my one thing, and people who say the one trick ponies are bad, fuck that. I was E Honda and Star and fucking, what was it? I can't even think, Street Fighter, right? And I'd always win because there was a glitch in the game with the E Honda 100 fist. And I get you in a corner to where you wouldn't hit the ground and you just kind of bounce like this indefinitely. And none of my friends ever played me. If they said they're gonna play me, I couldn't be Honda. So that's what everyone has their superpower. Just find it. And the superpower that is 100% a must for small cap coins is a hardworking team. You gotta fucking be willing to outwork everyone else. If you're lazy or if it's not real important to you, I'm on to the next. But if it's your lifeblood, if it's your everything, if it's what you wake up to and you go to sleep for, and you just, you're one of the low-key hard workers, because you're not going to find a superstar with 1 million market cap team. That means it's hard to find. You have to find the undercover superstars, the diamonds in the rough. And that's why it takes an extreme amount of work. So if you're not really putting in work, I'm talking months of work before you get into one of these small cap coins, because it takes that long just to build a real relationship. Any kind of CEO can be cool first time you meet them, but let's see how they react to markets going up and down, how they react inside their Telegram or Slack groups or whatever. Even get to email, get on a Skype call. I mean, it's not people. That's what life is. Life is here, right? And then you do stuff to it. You can call these CEOs and you can do things you've never done before, and you can get in comfort levels you've never been before, and you can be like, holy shit, I really, this coin. And then most of the time, a lot of them, especially if they're hard workers and this is their life, they'll blabber to you and they'll tell you all kinds of cool stuff that's about to happen because they're so excited about it. So that's why I look for small cap coins. Higher cap coins, what I'm looking for is you need everything. You need all of the above. You need super, super, super high liquidity. You need a super, super A-star team. Bitcoin, obviously you have Bitcoin Core with hundreds of developers, really, really respected. Ethereum, you have Vitalik, obviously, the Ethereum Foundation, yada, yada, yada. Go all the way down. That's you have to have all of it. You have to have billions of dollars in like funds available, or with the ability, like I like what Bitcoin Cash is doing, where the miners are actually going to help fund. That's kind of like the EOS model. The block producers are going to help fund the improvements on the, so it's like a self-funding model. I'm really a big fan of that, because as the coin grows in value, the self-funding grows in value, and it's just this monster. I'm a real big fan of conveyor belts. You know why? Because you can put a bunch of shit on them and then they all go to the same point. If you have all of this badass stuff, meaning self-funding, which helps you grow, and then helping you grow increases the self-funding, and it's just this self-fulfilling prophecy to victory. High cap coins get no corners. They get no slack. They get no nothing. They have to be billions in 24-hour liquidity, at least 100. Neo is, to me, I wouldn't even consider it a high cap coin anymore, which is sad, but it's been consistently under 100 million. I believe once it gets onto I believe it's not even on Bithumb yet, but if you're although I have a large position in Neo, I love it, but it is, if you're talking about EOS and you're talking about Ethereum and you're talking about Bitcoin with these consistent $1 billion 24-hour volume, it's night and day. It's night and day. I have no issues. There's no liquidity issues at all with high cap coins. So that's what I look for in the high cap coins. High cap coins to me aren't necessarily meant as oh man, I'm going to get super rich. They're always, when I came up, I held Bitcoin. Only Bitcoin I had was to buy cheap altcoins. Like, I was real with myself. I realized a lot of people, I'm going to kill it here. I say a lot of people, I say that because this was me. Like, I went through all of these growing pains, and it's just, you got to be real with yourself, and you got to say, hey man, this is what I want to do. When I said I wanted to be a billionaire and I was 5 years old, I found myself, 25 years old, 26 years old, and I was doing things to become a millionaire. And I was like, this isn't the foundation. This isn't the foundation to become a billionaire. I have to actually, if I have to be real with myself, was I just saying that because just to say it, or is that really what I really wanted to become? And once you actually are real with yourself, then you're going to force that conveyor belt in the direction you need it to go to actually be realistic. A lot of people say, oh, I want to go 100x, yada, 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 and then they'll invest in something like EOS. And it's like, you're just, and then the expectations when it doesn't do that, they get in despair. Just a lot more research needs to be done. And I don't know. I kind of feel like with all humans, like if you're a good-hearted dude, it's like, I leave no man behind, leave no woman behind, leave no person behind, right? Like, if you can do good, if it's just a mental flaw, because a lot of this bullshit is just little mental shit. Like, I don't judge people who fuck up or are mentally weak at sometimes. Like, dude, anyone can become stronger. It's like looking at somebody who's skinny and just saying, oh, he can never be strong. Of course he can. Anyone who's mentally weak now can become strong. Anybody. And it can spread like a virus. Hell, listen to this video. If it made you a little bit mentally strong, go make 10 other people mentally stronger. People who think who seem to be in despair, right? Don't go force your will, right? I'm just speaking out loud to any fucking person who wants to listen. I'm speaking to myself, really. This shit helps me, but just in general, it's really, really good to get the mindset. this has attracted a lot of minds, and we can see that there's a lot of mentality that can easily be shifted and easily be fixed with just a few techniques. So, just leave no person behind. Gave a brief overview of what coins I get into and why. I guess next video I'll go into a little bit more in depth of world tokenization and where I really see. I know I've hit that on a few times, but I'm going to break it down even further. So I hope everyone has a great weekend. Cheers. Peace.